The Midgard Gate. Chapter 1, The Anomaly Awakens. The wind howled outside, a banshee's wail against the metal shell of the research station. Inside, the hum of machinery and the soft glow of computer screens provided a comforting warmth against the biting Antarctic cold. Dr. Eric Svensson, his breath fogging in the frigid air, stared intently at a monitor, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Anything yet, Sarah?" he asked, his voice barely audible over the din of the machinery. Sarah, a young and enthusiastic astrophysics postdoc, leaned closer to her screen, her fingers dancing across the keyboard. "The energy signal is getting stronger, Dr. Svensson. It's unlike anything we've ever encountered." Eric nodded, a spark of curiosity igniting in his usually stoic eyes. He was a man of science driven by logic and reason, but even he couldn't deny the thrill of the unknown. "Pinpoint the source," he instructed. "I want to know what we're dealing with." The team worked tirelessly, their faces illuminated by the ghostly glow of the monitors. Hours turned into days as they followed the energy signal, drilling deeper and deeper into the ancient ice. Then it happened. A sudden surge of energy jolted through the station, causing the lights to flicker and the alarms to blare. Eric rushed to Sarah's side, his heart pounding in his chest. "What's happening?" Sarah's eyes were wide with a mixture of fear and excitement. "The signal ... IT ... off the charts. We've hit something." The team gathered around a live video feed from the drill. As the camera panned down the icy tunnel, it revealed a sight that took their breath away. A shimmering, crystalline structure, pulsating with an ethereal light, filled the screen. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, a marvel of nature, or perhaps something far more extraordinary. "My God," Eric murmured, his skepticism momentarily forgotten. "What is it?" No one had an answer. All they knew was that they had stumbled upon something truly remarkable, something that could rewrite the textbooks and redefine their understanding of the universe. The air crackled with anticipation as they cautiously approached the enigmatic structure, their minds racing with questions and their hearts filled with a mixture of awe and trepidation. As they got closer, they could feel the heat radiating from the crystalline surface, a stark contrast to the freezing surroundings. The structure seemed to hum with a life of its own, beckoning them closer. Eric, ever the cautious scientist, reached out a gloved hand to touch the glowing surface. A jolt of energy surged through him, not painful, but electrifying, as though the structure was communicating with him on a primal level. "We need to study this," Eric declared, his voice now filled with a newfound resolve. "This is our chance to unlock the secrets of the universe." Little did they know that their discovery was not just a scientific breakthrough, but a gateway to a world beyond their wildest dreams. A world where myth and science would collide in a breathtaking dance of wonder and danger. As the team prepared to delve deeper into the mystery of the Midgard Gate, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of something truly extraordinary, something that would forever change their lives in the course of human history. The wind continued to howl outside, an eerie counterpoint to the electric anticipation that filled the research station. But inside, a new chapter was about to begin. A chapter that would take them on a journey beyond the confines of their known world and into the heart of a legend. Chapter 2, A Step into Legend. The heavy metal door to the gate room hissed open, revealing the now familiar sight of the crystalline portal, shimmering with an inner light that seemed to dance and shift. Eric tightened the straps on his exploration pack, feeling the weight of the various instruments and tools, each one a testament to human ingenuity. "Comms check," Eric said, his voice slightly muffled by his helmet. "Loud and clear, Doc," replied Sam, the team's tech specialist, his voice crackling through the comms. "All systems nominal." Sarah, her eyes wide with a mix of excitement and apprehension, adjusted the straps on her own pack, a nervous smile playing on her lips. "Ready when you are, boss." Eric nodded, a sense of calm resolve settling over him. "All right, team," he said, his voice ringing out with a quiet authority. "Let's make history." With synchronized breaths, they stepped towards the shimmering portal, the air around them crackling with static electricity. The moment they crossed the threshold, a kaleidoscope of colors and sensations engulfed them. A gentle warmth washed over their bodies, followed by a sudden shift in gravity, leaving them feeling momentarily disoriented. When their vision cleared, they found themselves in a landscape that seemed ripped from the pages of an ancient saga. Towering above them was an immense tree, its branches reaching towards a sky ablaze with celestial lights. The air was filled with the sound of rushing water and the distant rumble of thunder. "Incredible," Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible over the comms. "It's like stepping into a dream." As their eyes adjusted to the unfamiliar light, they noticed a group of figures approaching. They were tall and imposing, their faces weathered by time, their eyes filled with a wisdom that transcended centuries. The leader, his broad shoulders adorned with intricate armor and his eyes as blue as the summer sky, stepped forward, a warm smile gracing his lips. "Welcome, travelers," he boomed, his voice resonating with a power that sent shivers down their spines. "I am Thor, son of Odin, and you stand in the realm of Asgard." Eric, his heart pounding in his chest, managed a polite nod. "Greetings, Thor," he replied, his voice betraying a hint of awe. "I am Dr. Eric Svensson, and this is my team. We come from a world far different from yours, a world where your stories are whispered as legends." Thor's smile widened, revealing a row of perfect white teeth. "Legends, you say?" He chuckled. "Perhaps there is more truth to those tales than you realize." The initial greetings gave way to a cautious exchange of information. Dr. Chen, the linguist, found himself surprisingly able to communicate with the Aesir, their language resonating with a familiar rhythm despite the differences in vocabulary. They learned of Yggdrasil, the world tree that connected the 9 realms, of the majestic halls of Valhalla, where fallen warriors feasted and trained for Ragnarok, the prophesied end of the world. Despite the warmth of their welcome, a sense of unease lingered in the air. The Aesir, while seemingly benevolent, were also guarded, their eyes constantly assessing the newcomers. The scientists, in turn, were careful not to overstep their boundaries, aware that they were guests in a strange and potentially dangerous world. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the golden landscape, Eric felt a pang of apprehension. This world was both awe-inspiring and unsettling, a place where the lines between myth and reality blurred. What secrets did this realm hold, and what role would they play in the unfolding events? Chapter 3: Gods of Science and Magic. The grand halls of Asgard echoed with the sounds of laughter and music, a feast in full swing to celebrate the arrival of the travelers from beyond the gate. Eric sat beside Thor, a platter of roasted meats and exotic fruits before him. But even as he politely sampled the unfamiliar cuisine, his mind raced. "This meat is extraordinary," Eric remarked, raising his goblet in a toast. "What is it made from?" Thor let out a hearty laugh, his eyes twinkling with amusement. "The nectar of the gods, my friend, brewed from the golden apples of Idun, the goddess of youth." Eric nodded, a hint of skepticism creeping into his smile. "Remarkable," he said, though he suspected the nectar was more likely a complex fermentation process than divine intervention. Over the next few days, the team immersed themselves in the study of Asgardian culture and technology. Dr. Chen, armed with his ever-present translation device, engaged in lively conversations with Odin, the Allfather, delving into the history and mythology of the Aesir. "Your stories of creation, the battles between gods and giants, the prophecy of Ragnarok, they are fascinating," Dr. Chen said one afternoon, his voice tinged with wonder. "But they also raise many questions." Odin stroked his long white beard, a thoughtful look on his face. "Indeed, young scholar," he replied, "our tales are woven with threads of truth and metaphor, meant to guide and inspire. But perhaps it is time for a new chapter to be written." Meanwhile, Sarah and the other scientists were busy examining the technological marvels of Asgard. The energy shields that protected the city, the Bifrost Bridge that allowed instantaneous travel between realms, even the weapons wielded by the warriors, all hinted at a level of scientific advancement far beyond anything on Earth. "This is incredible," Sarah exclaimed, her eyes glued to the readings on her scanner. "The energy patterns here are unlike anything I've ever seen. It's like a symphony of controlled chaos." Amidst the excitement of discovery, a shadow lurked. Loki, the trickster god, seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once, his sly grin and enigmatic words leaving a trail of unease in his wake. Intriguing devices you have there, Loki remarked one day, his eyes fixed on the scientist's instruments. They seem to measure the very essence of our being. Eric met Loki's gaze, a flicker of suspicion in his eyes. Indeed, he replied cautiously. We are scientists, after all. Observation and measurement are our tools for understanding the universe. Loki chuckled, a sound like the rustling of leaves in a dark forest. Understanding, is it? He mused. Or perhaps control? Eric's grip tightened on his scanner. He sensed that Loki was testing them, probing for weaknesses, his motives as inscrutable as the shadows that danced in his wake. As the days passed, the initial camaraderie between the scientists and the Aesir began to fray. The cultural exchange, while fruitful, also revealed stark differences in values and priorities. The Aesir, with their emphasis on honor, tradition, and divine right, clashed with the scientists' empirical approach and egalitarian ideals. The seeds of discord sown by Loki began to sprout, as whispers of doubt and mistrust spread through Asgard. The stage was set for a conflict that would not only challenge the scientists' mission, but also threaten the delicate balance between their world and the realm of the gods. Chapter 4. The Convergence Crisis. An ominous silence had fallen over Asgard. The once vibrant city now seemed subdued, its inhabitants whispering in hushed tones as tremors shook the very foundations of the golden halls. Outside, the sky churned with unnatural storms, lightning flashing with a ferocity that even Thor seemed to regard with unease. Eric paced the floor of the makeshift laboratory, his brow furrowed in concentration. Days of data analysis and sleepless nights had taken their toll, but the urgency of the situation fueled his determination. The energy fluctuations are escalating, Sarah announced, her voice tense as she monitored the readings on her console. The Midgard gate is becoming increasingly unstable. Dr. Chen, his usually jovial demeanor replaced by a grim expression, nodded in agreement. We are witnessing a convergence of realities, he said, his voice heavy with concern. The interaction between our worlds is causing a ripple effect, destabilizing the very fabric of space and time. Eric looked up, his eyes meeting those of his team. We need to act, he said, his voice firm. We cannot allow this instability to continue. A tense silence hung in the air. The weight of the responsibility they bore pressed down on them, threatening to crush their spirits. But then, Sarah spoke up, her voice filled with a quiet determination. We have the knowledge, she said. We've seen how the Aesir manipulate energy, how they harness the power of the Bifrost. We can use that knowledge to stabilize the gate. Eric nodded slowly, a glimmer of hope dawning in his eyes. You're right, he said, but we can't do this alone. We need the Aesir's help. The decision to approach Odin with their proposal was met with a mix of apprehension and hope. The Allfather, his face etched with worry, listened intently as Eric explained their findings and outlined their plan. A device to regulate the flow of energy between worlds, Odin mused, stroking his beard thoughtfully. A bold concept, but one not without merit. Thor, who stood beside his father, spoke up, his voice booming with conviction. We cannot stand idly by while our realms are threatened, he declared. We will aid you in this endeavor, for the fate of both our worlds hangs in the balance. With the Aesir's support secured, the team set to work, combining their scientific expertise with the Asgardians' knowledge of energy manipulation. They toiled day and night, forging a device from a unique alloy of earth metals and Asgardian crystals, imbued with the power of the Bifrost itself. The energy regulator, a marvel of human ingenuity and alien technology, took shape under their skilled hands. As the final touches were put on the device, a sense of cautious optimism filled the air. The team knew the risks were high, the consequences of failure too dire to contemplate. But they also knew they were humanity's best hope, the bridge between two worlds on the brink of collapse. The fate of Midgard, and perhaps their own Earth, rested on their shoulders. The time had come to put their plan into action and face the ultimate test of their knowledge, their courage, and their faith in the power of collaboration. Chapter 5. Humanity's Triumph. The clang of hammers against metal, the hiss of welding torches, and the murmur of focused conversation filled the air within the cavernous forge of Asgard. Earthly tools mingled with alien instruments, a testament to the unlikely collaboration between the scientists and the Aesir. Sparks flew as they worked tirelessly, their shared goal a beacon in the growing darkness that threatened both their worlds. Eric, his face streaked with grime and sweat, watched as Sarah meticulously soldered a delicate Asgardian crystal into the heart of the energy regulator. "How's it coming?" he asked, his voice hoarse from days of shouting over the din of construction. Sarah looked up, a triumphant smile on her face. "Almost there, Doc. Just a few more connections and we should be ready for testing." The regulator itself was a marvel of ingenuity, a fusion of human understanding of energy physics and Asgardian mastery of manipulating cosmic forces. Its intricate network of conduits, crystals, and coils pulsed with a vibrant energy, ready to be unleashed. Under the watchful eyes of Thor and Odin, the team carefully transported the regulator to the base of the Midgard gate. The air crackled with anticipation as they connected it to the network of energy lines that crisscrossed the crystalline structure. Eric turned to Freya, the warrior goddess who had become an invaluable ally. Her eyes, normally filled with the fire of battle, now reflected a cautious hope. "Are you ready?" he asked. Freya nodded, her hand resting on the hilt of her sword. "Ready as I'll ever be," she replied, her voice steady and resolute. Eric took a deep breath and activated the regulator. The device hummed to life, its energy flowing into the Midgard gate like a soothing balm. The chaotic fluctuations began to subside, the tremors lessened, and the once turbulent skies gradually calmed. A cheer erupted from the assembled scientists and Aesir as the data on their monitors confirmed the success of their mission. They had done it. They had averted a catastrophic convergence and stabilized the Midgard gate. Eric turned to Sarah and the rest of his team, a wide grin spreading across his face. "We did it!" he exclaimed, his voice filled with pride and relief. Sarah threw her arms around him in a spontaneous hug, her eyes sparkling with joy. "We did it, Doc," she echoed, her voice choked with emotion. The celebration was short-lived, however, as the reality of their situation sunk in. They were still in a strange and unfamiliar world, their presence a potential catalyst for further instability. But for now at least, the immediate crisis had been averted. As the team packed up their equipment, Eric shared a meaningful look with Freya. He had grown to respect this fierce warrior, her unwavering courage and keen intellect earning his admiration. "Thank you," Eric said, his voice sincere. "Your help was invaluable." Freya inclined her head in acknowledgement. "As was yours," she replied, a hint of warmth in her eyes. "We have much to learn from each other." The bond between the scientists and the Aesir had been forged in the fires of adversity, a testament to the power of collaboration and the shared desire for knowledge and understanding. As they prepared to return to their own Earth, they knew they were leaving behind not just a stabilized portal, but also a bridge between two worlds, a bridge built on trust, respect, and the shared pursuit of a brighter future. Chapter 6: A New Dawn. The chill of the Antarctic air was a stark contrast to the warmth of the welcome that awaited them. Stepping out of the Midgard gate, the team was greeted not by the silence of the polar wilderness, but by the thrum of helicopters, the glare of floodlights, and a crowd of cheering faces. News of their success had spread like wildfire, transforming the once isolated research station into a hub of excitement and anticipation. As Eric descended the ramp, the flash of cameras momentarily blinded him, the roar of the crowd a distant echo. He saw familiar faces, colleagues, friends, family, their eyes filled with pride and admiration. A wave of emotion washed over him, a mixture of relief, exhaustion, and a profound sense of accomplishment. He had led his team through the impossible, not only surviving a journey into a fantastical realm, but returning with knowledge that could change the course of human history. The following days were a whirlwind of press conferences, debriefings, and scientific presentations. The world was captivated by their story, hungry for every detail of their encounters with the gods of Asgard and the wonders of their technology. Eric, once a skeptic, now found himself a reluctant champion of the impossible, his words carrying the weight of newfound authority. But amidst the celebrations and accolades, Eric couldn't shake the feeling that their work was far from over. The Midgard gate, though stabilized, remained a mystery, its full potential yet to be unlocked. He knew that further exploration and collaboration were essential, not just for the sake of scientific advancement, but for the continued harmony between the two worlds. With the blessings of Odin and the support of Freya, Eric proposed the establishment of a permanent research outpost near the Midgard Gate. The idea was met with enthusiasm from both the scientific community and the Aesir, who saw it as an opportunity for continued cultural exchange and mutual benefit. Months later, the outpost, a gleaming beacon of human ingenuity against the icy backdrop, was operational. Scientists from around the world flocked to the site, eager to contribute to the groundbreaking research that was taking place. The Aesir, too, were frequent visitors, their initial wariness replaced by a growing trust and respect for their earthly counterparts. Eric stood at the edge of the Midgard Gate, watching as a team of scientists and Aesir engineers collaborated on a new energy harvesting device. The sight filled him with a sense of hope and optimism. The bridge between their worlds was not just a portal for exploration, but a pathway to a brighter future. The story of the Midgard Gate had captured the imagination of humanity, sparking a renewed interest in space exploration and a thirst for knowledge of the unknown. It had also shown that even the most fantastical myths could hold a kernel of truth, a testament to the boundless potential of human imagination and the power of collaboration to overcome any obstacle. As Eric gazed out at the infinite expanse of the Antarctic sky, he knew that the journey had just begun. The Midgard Gate was a gateway to a universe of possibilities, a universe where the lines between science and myth were blurred and where the only limit was the reach of human curiosity. The dawn of a new era had arrived, an era where the human spirit, fueled by a thirst for knowledge and a yearning for connection, would reach out to the stars and beyond, forging a path towards a future where the impossible became possible and the extraordinary became the norm.